don't know how to take it off on this.
Oh, I'll do
Okay.
that. All right. Well, I'm calling
Got it.
this meeting to order. I'm just going to take your, oh dear. This is what I'm going to do. I'm recording already, so I'm turning your camera off. Oh, there you go. All right,
I
good.
just turned mine off.
Yep, that's good. So I'm calling this meeting of April 20th, 23 of Action for Canada Norfolk chapter to order. Where's my gavel? And I'm recording the meeting. I had someone else in the room for a while, but I didn't recognize the person and they didn't respond to me. So I'm not sure whether I've cut them off. But I just wanted to keep everybody safe in here. Before we were started, I had played the orientation video, but not through Zoom. So I just welcome everyone here tonight. I'm expecting Ori to come in. She's our Ontario chapter leader from Mississauga. She said she was coming in. I hope she found the link. She's smart that way, so I guess she will. Anyway, welcome to you all in the room here. We have Bob and me. So we have the treasurer and the leader and you ladies. And so we're thankful to have you here. I don't know if I sent you the agendas, the meeting agendas. I printed them out for us here, and I'll just read you what's on it here. Invocation. I thank God and God alone for this land he has given us to live in. May he also rule from sea to sea and from the river to the ends of the earth. Psalm 72 verses 1-8. And if we could all recite the Lord's Prayer, that would be really great. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Amen. All right. So if you have your meeting agenda handy, you can read with me the mission statement of Action for Canada so that we all know it out loud. Action for Canada is a grassroots movement reaching out to millions of Canadians and uniting our voices in opposition to the destructive policies tearing at the fabric of this nation. Through call to action campaigns, we equip citizens to take action. We are committed to protecting faith, family, and freedom. Our mission is to protect Canada's rich heritage, which is founded on Judeo-Christian biblical principles, inherited through our British Commonwealth and embedded in the Magna Carta. These principles form our laws and values and are the basis of a system of governance that sets us apart from totalitarian, extremist, and communist regimes, giving Canadians the freedom to believe or not believe without fear of persecution, oppression, or even death. So that is our mission and that's our calling here. And this is what we are up to and about. So on here, the introduction of the leadership team, I already did say that. I'm Luann Ash, and I'm the leader, and my so far, and my husband Bob Ash is our treasurer. And we don't have a treasurer's report right now because he's still busy with his work at H&R Block. And we haven't had a great flow of money going by, although we have had some very kind donations come in. And we have made some expenditures, particularly on printing and things like that. So we have that. So that's my report on finances. That's going to come together pretty soon, though, because they're very diligent at national office to do that. And I've had a couple of reminder kind of emails from the head of finances. So I have to stay on that. the next item on our agenda. Oh, and by the way, if as a matter of prayer, as to the leadership team. Oh, here's someone else. Here's Ori. I'll just wait a minute while she comes in. Hello, Ori. You're muted and your video is off.
Hi, Luan.
Hi. We have we've just gone through our openings so far here. We have my husband, Bob, the treasurer, in the room with me. And we have a supporter, Sherry Lynn, and another supporter, Marg, who are here via Zoom. And so
Yay,
all of you
fabulous.
people, all of you people, I would like you to say hello in your little way to Ori, who is in Mississauga.
Mhm.
Hello, Ori.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi, Ori.
Hi.
Now, we did have another person in the room, but when they came in, I let them in. I don't have a moderator here, so I have to be kind of careful. And I didn't recognize their name. And when they came in, they had their audio going and it sounded like something was playing in the background. So I texted them, I sent them messages about this and asked them to come back in if I booted them out. And they haven't come back yet. So I have to be very careful because I know we're all, well, except for Bob, but he's not online. I want to be very diligent to protect everybody who's in here. So we've just gone through our welcome invocation, Lord's Prayer, and mission statement. And we had just introduced the leadership team. And just before I let Ori in, I said, I wanted to ask you all to pray that the Lord would send me a co-leader. And I have got some serious help I need. So I need some people to sign up on the volunteer place on the website so that they can be vetted for service. And because I could use some hands. Anyway, so yes. So we're looking to fill a secretarial role, which is what actually this Zoom meeting recording is doing for me. It's acting as my secretary. And I would like to have someone as a pastor on board here. So if you could pray about that the Lord would send them here. And the next item on our agenda here is reports and upcoming action items. So I just wanted to report on some of our walks that we have had. I haven't had a moment to think and write down these reports, but last week we had some very successful walking and I got a really great sunburn. And our walks were a little bit more generalized, although we're focusing in the Brantford area on praying around Market Square where City Hall and the courthouses are. We kind of expanded that territory by another block. So by the time we were finished walking on that day that we had walked well over 11,000 steps. So on the one day. And the next day we added Haldimand on Friday last week. So we walked up and down Caledonia and met up with one of our supporters who lives in that area, who came with us. She's a wonderful spirit. Her name is Jody. And she's a wonderful spirit and a great, great prayer warrior. And while we were walking there in Caledonia, we went across the street and the crossing guard was there. And he said, "What's this flag about?" And I said, "Oh, it's the Christian flag." And he said, "Well, what are you doing?" And I said, "We're walking and praying for the people and for our local governments and our schools and that." And he said, "Oh, great. Would you pray for me?" So we had the opportunity to ask him his name and we laid hands on him and prayed for him, for his concerns. And that was kind of exciting. And then we walked down one side of the street in Caledonia, just the main drag. You probably don't know it, but it's just a really long street. And we started at, I guess that would be the south end, and walked down not quite as far as the bridge. So we didn't go that whole length. And then we crossed the street and came back up. And while we were there, a man on a bicycle got to talking with Jody about he asked us about the Christian flag, and he was very thankful that we were doing that. And he and Jody got into a grand discussion, which was very very nice. Meanwhile, my sister and I hadn't eaten, so we stopped at Wendy's for lunch. So anyway, this week we only walked 2 days because our focus this week was on the mayors, the MPs, and the MPP offices. Because we're walking over the noon hour, we didn't expect anybody actually to be in there. But I'm on the mayor. I'm on first name basis with our MPP, Bobby Ann Brady, and her executive assistant has been in my home many, many times because her son for many years was a music student of mine. So I kind of have an in there. So she said, oh, she probably wouldn't be in the office, but when we got to her office, she had stuck around at lunch hour so she could be there. We started with the mayor's office, and that was, we just prayed. We walked around the buildings with our flags praying, and then went to the main doors. We didn't actually go into the council buildings. They were having a counseling committee or something like that, where they were discussing all their issues that day. Prayed for them, then went to our MP's office, Dr. Leslyn Lewis, where the girls were in the office at the time. And we just marched right into there, past the courthouse that was in there, and up the stairs and into the office, and said, we're here to pray for Dr. Lewis in her role, and for you ladies in the office who are the right-hand man. They were absolutely delighted. So we prayed for them by name, and prayed for Dr. Lewis. And my sister and I have been using, we've just been reciting a prayer that I found on the internet and adapted. It was a really good one. So if you want to see that, I will send that on an email to you. But it was, they were quite moved by it and very grateful. And after that, we went to Bobby Ann's, and then we met up in Cayuga, which is like 30 minutes down the road. And there was Jody, and she had brought 3 other friends. So we had not been at the municipal, whatever they call that building, the executive building. I don't know what they call it. Anyway, in Cayuga, it's right next door to their arena. But we took our flags. We had Canadian flags, and we did the Jericho walk around that building, praying 7 times around we went, and then we parted ways. So then today we went to Brantford again, and started out in Paris and went into at the back is the council meeting, but on the front of it, on the main street, is the County of Brant building. So we went in there and told them we were going to be praying for the mayor and for the council and for the clerks and everything like that. And I got my sister to write this note. We did that. We prayed the prayer over them. And when we were in that office, the ladies were very tolerant. It was kind of funny. Anyway, tolerant. They were very tolerant. When we went around the back of the building, however, to leave, there was a nice young man who was walking his dog, and he asked us what the flag was. And we told him it was the Christian flag. And he said, oh, what are you doing? And we told him we were praying for the councilmen and the mayors and the MPPs and MPs today. And he said, oh, that's really good, because, there's probably strongholds. And so we left him one of the red flyers, walked what we were doing, and went on our way because we were on a schedule. This time I made up an actual, as you know by your emails, I made up a timing schedule. And we were kind of on that for sure. The MPP, Mr. Buma, was, I think that's how you pronounce his name. His office was locked, but we prayed there. And then we went to the mayor of Brantford's office, and that's a really fun building because it's got great big lions on the front, on the pillars. So I got my picture by the lions, and then another picture underneath where it says City Hall. We went in there, and the Brantford mayor has had surgery on his spine, or on his back at any rate. So they don't even know when he's going to be out. So anyway, the girls in there in the information center, we prayed over them and over him. And my plan is to write a nice little cover letter and send them all in the mail copies of the prayer that we prayed over them. And my idea with this is to develop goodwill in the same manner as when Esther prepared herself to go into the king's chambers to ask for stuff. Too many times people are grumpy and complaining, and their encounters with people who are in charge, so to speak, are negative. And I want to create some positive ones, because I would like to be able to have the freedom, because of the relationship, to slap them upside the head with a velvet glove. If need be. Not that I would, but you know what I mean. If you have to say a hard thing, or you have to ask a hard thing, it's good that if you've made some kind of a friendly appearance to start out with. So anyway, that is what our past 2 weeks since our meetings, our last meeting, that's what we've been doing. I was pretty exhausted last week. Let me tell you, I'm not that fit yet, but I'm sure I will be after this. Oh, we had an incident. My poor sister, when we were at Brantford or Brant County or whatever that area's MP's office. Poor girl. I was almost in the door, and I heard this, oh, like this behind me. And she had tripped over the curb in the concrete, and thankfully she did not do a face plant, and she didn't hurt her teeth or bones or anything like this. But I looked around and I just saw her rolling. Well, poor girl. It was kind of funny looking. And when we got in the car, we laughed pretty hard, but it hurt pretty bad. Oh, and so in Larry Brock, the MP's office, now you might see Larry Brock often speaking up, like Dr. Leslyn Lewis is speaking up for us in the Canadian Parliament. He has a lot to say, and he is holding their feet to the fire. And when we went in and prayed there, his two executive ladies were in there in the office, and they were very grateful and thankful that we were there to pray, and appreciative of the prayer. So that was a good report, I think. Those people are, the MPs and MPPs are sitting in the House right now too, and they're in committee meetings. So learning about all of this politics, how it works, and how to find them when they're at work, find what they're doing at work, and find them when they're in their home riding. That's a big deal. Anyway, does anybody have any questions about that?
I'm sorry to hear that you had a cool reception with Brant County, Luann.
Oh, why is that?
Well, you were saying that they were merely tolerant.
Yeah, it was a different kind of spirit there, I'll tell you.
That's too bad.
Well, I didn't find it too bad. It's for me, we're going there. We're going there to pray and to show that kind of support. And well, I suppose, yes, it's too bad, but it didn't really affect me negatively. It just made me understand the lay of the land, if you know what I mean.
Yes, but it sounds like everyone else was very positive and welcoming to you, which is good.
Yeah. Well, they were just the frontline clerks. They weren't even the county clerks. So, now Bob has told me that the clerks have more power than the mayor in these places. So you want to keep good rapport with those ladies too. Definitely.
Yes.
I just was wondering if someone was sending me. No. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so I haven't had a moment to think. about what will be on the agenda for next week. When I was in Caledonia with Jody and the other gals, I mean, she went out and bought 2 more flags herself, Christian flags, because that seems to be her thing. So that's a good thing. I said, I'm going to, I don't even really mind what day they do it, as long as they give me a report of what happened and what they were doing. But Jody is very on board, except that she's in an awkward situation in her home and in her work. So I think that's why she's hesitant to take too much initiative. However, I said, you know, if you want to grab those 3 girls and go and do a march somewhere else and pray, please do. Tell me how it went. Because that's a lot of territory. We think about it, that's a lot of territory to cover.
Yep.
And I want to be able to stand and give a word to those who ask when we're there, rather than being on a crunch of time, you know, to get to another venue, and which we weren't. We haven't been, but I still want to keep things organized, because we have lives here too, right? Yeah. Anything else you want to discuss about that, or?
I was wondering if I could see one of the flags. Do you have one
Oh.
handy, or pick a photo, or see the
Uh,
size of them and what they look like?
They're a full size flag. They have a white field with a blue, bright dark blue square with a red cross in the middle of that. And if you look up on Wikipedia, you'll find it.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering
mine's
what
out in the
your
car.
actual flags look like. when
Yeah.
they're- That's
Well,
okay.
you know what? What I think I'm going to do is I might send a bunch of pictures to the members who are on my membership list to show what we were doing. And it looks a little bit lonely though, because Adrienne, my sister, is the one that's always taking the pictures. So unless there's a gang, but she's usually the one who's taking the pictures. And so there might be only me in the picture, which looks kind of arrogant, but.
That's a flag.
Oh, I see some, yeah,
Oh, thanks,
Okay.
Ori.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, so ours are a very, the ones that we have, man, if I'm walking down the street, I've got it on a regular flagpole that busted off at our place. So it's was from one from our house. And if I'm walking along, the wind catches that, it buries Adrienne in it. So yeah, they're very beautiful. And we've had various people in the parks and whatnot ask us what the flag is and all of that. So we, yeah.
On the communication that A4C sent when we started this entire Walk for Revival, they had a link as well. So if you want to purchase it, you can just click on that link on the newsletter or call to action, and you can order it. That's what I did, and I got 2 of them. Mhm.
I have 5 more flags that I ordered as soon as I heard about that. I ordered them from Christian Books, so I ordered 7. So I still have 5 to, if people want to have that for your own collection, or you want to carry it in your region. Because I'm thinking, well, so I think we probably should come out to St. George, don't you, Sherry Lynn?
We don't have any municipal office here.
No, part of the thing is schools. So that,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I'm thinking we really need to do, pray for schools. And the people in there, the teachers in there, and the children, and the administrators, and the secretaries, and the janitors, and all of that.
I see.
So that may be an action. I can't think as far ahead as some other people who have been doing this kind of thing for ages and ages. I'm just going week by week. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to move on to the next item on our agenda, which is upcoming action items. So I sent this email out to the membership and to the supporters that on Monday, next Monday, the 24th, it is the monthly Grand Erie District School Board meeting. And last time they had a meeting, my sister and I and Jody came from Caledonia, and we did a silent signage where we had our signs, stop sexualizing children from Action for Canada. And there were a lot of people. That's a very busy street, Erie Ave, going out of town. So we got quite a bit of eyeballs on that. I have no idea what happened in the school board, but people were coming and going because, of course, you know, teachers go in and go out, and union goes in and go out, and employees go in and go out, and trustees, I don't know whether they had gone in. I know that they meet at 6:30 or 6:15. I think maybe they order pizza in or something like that. And they have their in-camera meeting before the meeting. So their meeting is at 7, but it might be 7:15 by the time they are finished with their in-camera. So, you know, they've got to be arriving pretty soon. So we are going to be doing that silent signage again on Erie Ave. I have enough signs, and we have our Action for Canada banner that we're going to bring out this time and poke it into the ground. You know, my sister and I were there from 3 o'clock until 5 o'clock last time. It was so cold. Hopefully it won't be that cold this time. And Jody did come and join us for the last hour, so that was good. So that's an action that we are going to take. They have ignored us at the school board. They've there has been, you know, you have to understand that our school boards and each individual school board or library or whatever it is, these organizations belong to kind of umbrella organizations too. So whatever's happening in Durham County or in Kitchener-Waterloo area, the people at our board are privy to that kind of discussion because they have interdepartmental or whatever you call it discussion. And basically they've ghosted us. They have they have chosen the non-response, the Trudeau non-response pattern. And that is very concerning to me because Simcoe elected a woman who ran as a Christian. Well, she didn't run as a Christian, but she is a Christian. And she's been an educator, and she's part of the group that's ghosting me and them. And by them, I mean the notices of liability that we sent and the follow-ups that we sent. So we are going to sit in protest outside there. I think we might add to that the school board, the separate school board, which is up on Fairview in Brantford, because I think they need to have fair warning. And that's a really busy street as well. So it will bring awareness to the public who are largely unaware, I believe. We always carry materials with us that if anybody asks, we generally hand them a flyer. Did you know this? Which shows some of the more graphic materials that could be in the schools, in the public libraries. And we always point them to the website Action for Canada so that, you know, questions can be referred to there. Another thing that is on my mind is to ask the people who are on my email list to make a phone call to the school board to register their dismay, disgust, whatever. And I just noticed on another group I belong to, a man has started that kind of initiative. And he said he came up with a really great plan of attack, which I am going to borrow. And that he suggested that everybody in the group call one school during this day. On this day, call this one school until there's 30 or 40 phone calls, right? And he's even given a script, which I read through and don't find offensive. It's not threatening or anything like that, just expressing, you know, dismay. So I think that if we did that with the school board and the trustees and got everybody to send masses of phone calls and letters and emails that somebody said that numbers count. So if people aren't speaking up, then they're thinking that it's only one person that's annoyed with this. When really most people are annoyed with this, unless they are themselves perverts. So, and I'm speaking about the sexualization of children material that, you know, that stuff that's in the schools. Any comments, anybody? No? Okay. Well, so that's those are two upcoming actions that we plan to take. Of course, now this is, I believe this is week 3 that I've completed of my task that I set for myself in the 7 weeks walk for revival, which means there are 4 weeks left. So I believe that it's there are a few more people joining us here, there, and everywhere, and I'm hoping that that will snowball. And even if it doesn't, my sister, as long as she's well enough, and I, as long as I'm well enough, will continue to represent everybody and to go and into these places and pray for other people. So that's that. Oh, that's that so far. The next on my agenda is a discussion of recent Empower Hour topics. Did anybody see last night's Empower Hour? Besides Ori. It was really fun. Pastor Dan out on the East Coast, out in Cape Breton, shared his little bit of his knowledge about making greenhouses and how, and not only that, but providing food for yourself in difficult times and what you can do. So he's going to come up with a bunch of other videos that are going to be put up on the Action for Canada site with that in mind. Prepper Dan, he says. And so it was very cute because he reminded me of the people I hung out with when I lived in Nova Scotia. These poor hippies trying to make a living without spending any money. Yeah, and yeah. So he had some really good tips, and there was some really interesting chat in the chat section, people asking questions and all of that. And it's recorded, and I think it's up there on the website. And so I've got to be a little bit more diligent at posting the post-game videos, right? Yeah, because there's a lot of good material there.
It will be available for like any other Empower Hour from on the website. So when we are on the website, you have a tab at the top. I think it's the 4 last one on the right. So join Empower Hour, and then special links or links of interest or something. And so in that category, they always post all the Empower Hours, as well as all the links or any PowerPoints and presentations. So even if you miss something, you can go back to it. So yeah. Yeah,
I like that too. Or if you want to take better notes, I know I've gone back to the psychopath one several times to review that again. Yeah, that was a really good one. That part 1 and part 2 really helped me to understand how people can get held sway by how the adults in the room get groomed by psychopaths who want to abuse children. And yeah. Sherilyn says that was very powerful. Yes, it was. Dr. Ann Gillies, I don't know if I've showed this to you or not, but I've started to develop a relationship with Dr. Ann Gillies. And here's her late, I don't know if you're going to see this. Probably, is it going to focus? Anyway, it's called Damaged by the Predators Among Us. And the first part of the book is her family story. It comes mostly from her, and then her children each have a bit of a segment to describe the things that happened in their family. And there are many families, I think, who could identify with issues like they had in theirs. But then in the back, she talks, she has the section with all the footnotes and all of the professional stuff, right? The professional, the corroboration of other people's studies and that. And I can't read a lot of it at once because it's it makes me, no, actually, Sherry Lynn, Dr. Ann lives up in the Gray Bruce area. And
okay.
yeah, she had just recently, like just this past, she's been out west on a speaking tour and happened to stay at Tanya Gau's place. I just love this. Yeah. And while she was out there, but yeah, she lives, I can't remember, Dundalk. That's where she said.
Okay.
But she sent out a couple of live videos on her Facebook page or whatever. And because they were hosting, I can't remember where, but they were hosting a drag queen story hour there, like at a little tiny place, like, it's bigger than Waterford, I'm sure, right? No, my Bob says no. Dundalk is not very much bigger than Waterford. Anyway, so yeah. So this is really quite horrifying. And anyway, I highly recommend this book, Damaged by the Predators Among Us. I'm reading another one of her books. And for the life of me, my brain has gone on hold to tell you what the title is, but I'll share those with you. They're very important work. This is something I have been dealing with in my family for 40 years. And understanding how this gets slipped by in families, like and churches and schools, and what is actually happening now to damage future children with all this material. I remember when we were in Sunday school, they used to sing that song, "Oh, be careful, little eyes, what you see. Oh, be careful, little ears, what you hear," right? Because the things that go in there don't come out. And they're highly, they affect us.
Yep.
Anyway, this is where I am at. This is my big thing, is protecting children and women. This whole erasure of women by this agenda is just terrible, terrible.
Well.
So all of this, we know that it's that the war is in the heavenlies. It's not human beings really that we are at war with. And there's many reasons for it to be coming to the fore now. It's kind of the logical consequence of the second law of thermodynamics, which is the law of entropy, but also things move generally from order to disorder. So since the fall of man from creation, things are just getting progressively worse. And here's the time that we live in. So I know that as a person, as a human being, there are days when I just want to take a mental holiday and go in the garden and pretend there's nobody else in the world around except the dog and my husband and my cats. Because the encroachment of evil in our world is so horrible. And so learning to focus on the Lord and focus on the blessings that he's given us, rather than what the evildoers are doing. We have to know what they're doing and we need to stand up to them.
Yep.
But yeah, it gets really wearisome sometimes. So you can remember me in prayer like that, because I think I've become almost jaded in a way, because there's very few people I really trust any farther than I can throw them. One of them is my husband. One of them is my mom. I don't even trust my own mouth, because sometimes stuff comes out of there that, where did that come from? Anyway. So, yeah. The next thing on our agenda is a Q&A. So I think we had some pretty good Q&A last time. Anybody, since Ori's here, she can answer all kinds of questions that I can't, because I'm new. Anything anybody wants to ask about
I'm
Action for
new
Canada?
too, little bit older in the A4C adventure, but yeah.
Yeah.
I find, oh, so you were going to say something, Marg?
No,
Oh, okay.
I can't think of what to say.
Oh, she's speechless.
Speechless.
I wanted to share something with you guys, though, something that I
Yeah.
did today that I think it's important for all the volunteers or people who want to take action and know about. And so I went onto the website and I printed this up and I put the front pages in a bright green, and you can't see the paper. You can see my face. You can see the paper. And what this is 8 pages off the Action for Canada website, Know Your Rights, and it's guidelines for peaceful protesting, gathering, rallies, and or attending events. For example, council meetings, school boards, handing out flyers. And so I've printed up six copies of this, but I think it would be good for you to print up your own. If you don't want to print up your own, you can come to me and I will share these with you. Because they outline things very clear. These pages outline things very clearly. If you have an interaction with government agents or the police, what you're to do. About peaceful protest, and the law is all here for you. If you're arrested or detained, I got to start carrying this with me. But you should know these things in advance if you are going to be walking around in a group of people.
Yep.
And because the criminal code is written out here, and then on the back, the last page is how to file complaints against law enforcement, against human rights, or freedom of information requests. So I really think that you should go to that section and print it out for yourself, because it's good to have a copy in your purse just to know and to review. Maybe I will devote one meeting to this, or maybe Ori, is there a training on this, a video on this, do you suppose, online?
I don't think there's a video on there, but it's nice to go on the website and just as you said, print it. I have my own copy with me as well.
Yeah.
Always handy, because I never remember what to say, or so it just like take me 2 minutes to read it before I go out, and I highlighted certain areas, so that's always good. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, well, and I think that if we are asked, if people are coming along as volunteers, everybody's at a different stage in their education, right? So some people might not know this. And I just thought I would print out 6 and hand them out to anybody who is carrying a flag with us or coming with us, so that they have a copy. As Ori would reiterate or back me up, we don't give medical or legal advice. These are common things that are here, like your Charter of Rights and Freedoms and other things, guaranteed rights. So Sherry Lynn just brought up that there's a book called The Stovepipe, which is about the abuse of four sisters. And it was written by one of these women from the town that we are sitting in right now. I'd like to read that. I think I've heard about that. I think I have. I have a hard time reading those kind of books. I have a hard time reading Dr. Ann's book, and I have a hard time. Like I started reading Dr. Judith Reisman's book, and she was the one who exposed the whole deal with the guy that got this all started. What's his name? Horrible person.
Levin, Benjamin Levin.
No. Back in the 50s.
Oh,
What I'm just looking in their book. Alfred Kinsey, Dr.
Kinsey,
Alfred Kinsey.
yes.
So
Kinsey.
everything was based on Kinsey, right? And the more you understand about Kinsey, the more disgusted you are. But of course, human nature wants to be given affirmation in its evil doing. So that's what Alfred Kinsey was, a horrible man. Anyway, so enough of that chat. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Do we have any questions that
If I can, I don't know if I can share my screen, but if I can share the website.
I might give you, let me see, I might have to give you permission. Do I have to do that? I don't know.
Yes, if you can make me host or co-host so I can share the screen.
Okay, I don't even know how to do that. Okay, so if I go,
You
okay,
click on my name somewhere and
there she is, make host.
There you go.
Well, cancel, no, just how do I make? Yeah, okay, make host. Okay, there you are. Now you're host.
Perfect. Give me a quick second here.
Are you working on your phone?
No, I'm
Hello, Cassandra.
yeah, with my daughter on the side. I'm on my computer right now.
Hi,
So
baby.
All right, Cassie. Just give me a quick second. And I should be able to share. Okay, so that's a website, Action for Canada, right? I'm on the homepage right now. Do you guys see it?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
Yes.
Fabulous. So if you go on the legal section right now, and then you have Know Your Rights, that's where you can find the Know Your Rights document that Luan was just talking about. You can print it here. Okay. So that's where you can just look at, and there's a lot of resources. The other one we mentioned is under Join and Power Hour, Chat Links. So Chat Links, you have all the recordings, all the resources automatically loaded as soon as possible. So here is the Empower Hour from yesterday.
Oh, good.
If you want to rewatch it, he has a PowerPoint, so you can download his PowerPoint if you want to reuse it or things like that, and some links that he may have mentioned. So that's done. But any other ones before, so the week prior, for example, this one about youth leadership, same thing. You have the Empower Hour and any resources linked to that. And Tom Harris, and you can, same thing, like One World Order. So you can just go back and forth and look at all those resources. So that's always useful. I never know where to go. It's Empower Hour Chat Links, and then you have everything in there. So for all the Empower Hours.
Thank you.
And then Luan mentioned as well, volunteer. So join, volunteer. That was right at the beginning. If you know somebody, because you've ended up, you probably went on the website and yourself already registered. Give me a quick second. My daughter is stepping away from me. Yeah, I don't want her to fall and hit her head. Anyhow, so if you probably already registered and provided some of your contact information. Yeah, Cassie, just a quick second. Okay? You're my love. But if you know somebody or you're talking to someone and you're referring them to the website, feel free to let them know. Action for Canada, join, volunteer here.
Mhm.
Sorry for your recording, Luan. You're gonna have some baby cries.
Yeah, that's okay.
Volunteer, and they can volunteer name, address, and same thing if they have they're interested to take a special role. Like here you see, they would like interested in the chapter leadership,
Mhm.
co-lead, for example, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
any administration, a secretary, for example.
Yep. Yep.
So feel free to refer people to a website and let them know you have a talent, you want to share it with the community, please register under that category.
Yes.
So that way we can contact them as well.
Yes. Thank you. That's
you
very good. Thank you, Ori. Hey, Cassandra. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Oh, hi. Hi, baby. Hi, smiley girl. Hiya. Mwah, 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 mwah. Yeah, the baby.
Cassandra and Luan met last weekend, so she recognized you, Luan, when we came on the call. She said, "Oh,
Hi, baby.
hi."
Hi, baby.
Yes, hi.
Okay, so
Now
I
you're
think
excited.
that I think we've covered a lot of information. Anything else you girls out there think you would like to know, to do, to talk about in this meeting? Oops, now I gotta find where the chat is. Oh, I lost it. Anyway, well, if there nothing more than that, thank you so much, Ori, for coming in and bringing Cassandra to the meeting and for sharing your knowledge on the website and all of those things. We're just taking baby steps here. Oh, thank you. The author of The Stovepipe is Bonnie. Oh, I know Bonnie. Yes, okay. All right. Yes, that's what I remember about that. Yes, thank you. Bonnie Virag, The Stovepipe book. Okay, so if there's nothing anybody else wants to talk about, well, I think that I will go to the last two items on our agenda, which is our closing prayer and the singing of the national anthem. So I'm going to get Bob to close in prayer, and that will help.
Our Father and Lord God, we come and we bow in your presence, and we thank you that we can come into your throne room and bow at the feet of Jesus. So, Father, we thank you for this time we've had of sharing with each other and sharing actions that you've called people to do, to stand up for our rights and stand up for children and women. And Father, stand against the evil that is purveying in our country. So, Father, we know that Jesus Christ can heal all wounds, and he can give us all the freedom that is available to each one of us. So, Father, tonight I ask that you would bless each of these ladies, that the fresh spirit of Jesus Christ would fall upon them, and Father, that you would keep them in your protection. For we ask it in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. So if you're able, please rise with me for our national anthem. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Et valeur de foi paix, protéger nos foyers et nos droits. Protéger nos foyers et nos droits. And as Tanya would say, God bless you and God bless Canada. Thank you for coming to the meeting tonight, everybody. And I don't know what I did about the schedule. I said the 2nd and the 4th. I'm not sure if that's what it is, but anyway, we'll let you know in good time. But talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
You're thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Do you have to close this off now? Oh, I can end it now. Good night, everybody.